Alright, so growing up in Jamaica and going to school, there really isn't much of a way to express your individuality. Everyone is wearing pretty much the same thing to school. Depending on your school, that may be khakis with black or brown shoes for males, and a variety for females depending on the school. No, pay attention to the shoes, because this was one of the few ways you could express yourself. If you liked sneakers, you could wear sneakers. If you were more into Clarks or something else, you could also wear those. The school rule stated that as long as the shoe was black, it could be worn. No, if you know anything about Jamaican culture, you'd know that Clarks are a huge part of our identity, deep rooted in rude boy culture from the 60s and 70s and dancehall music. Clarks in a way helped to shape the fashion industry of Jamaica. And even 30 plus years later, when I started going to school, Clarks were still popular. There were songs at the time that glorified Clarks. If you didn't have a pair on your feet going to school, you were basically a nobody. Now let's go back in time for a minute. Back to when I was in prep school. I remember back then, my mom would buy shoes for me to go to school, and she would always buy me Clarks. Funny enough, it was never the ones I wanted. I would always get the L-stitch Clarks and never the bank robber or desert Clarks, which were the popular ones. Regardless, I had Clarks and I was happy back then. Well, somewhat. I had cousins who would wear more popular shoes to school like the Wallaby or the Desert Clark variant, and I was always jealous of them. But there's something that a lot of people don't know about Clarks, and that is the sole is made from a natural rubber which easily degrades over time. In Jamaica, you'll hear people refer to them as cheese bottom Clarks. My L-stitch Clarks were cheese bottom. I can vividly remember my shoes melting on the concrete when I was younger. I don't know if that was something to do with the heat or if it was just something with the cheese bottom Clark. Now, fast forward to high school, and now sneakers are the in thing. Clarks were still popular, but sneakers were slowly taking over the scene. When I was in 7th grade, Adidas was the popular sneaker at the time. They sold a variant that was full black with a white sole. I was fortunate enough to wear a pair of them to school. But before I continue, I should mention that my school is located in the middle of nowhere. Because of this, getting a taxi into the town was something that was not always easy. I often found myself walking half a mile or a mile sometimes to get a taxi. After all that, I'm guessing you know what happened. The shoes ended up getting destroyed. There were holes at the crease points and I had to get a new pair of shoes. Now because of the timing, I wasn't able to just get another pair immediately, so they had to buy something cheap to hold me over. My aunt went into the town and she bought me a pair of shoes that were so big, they looked like clown shoes when I put them on. They were so loose on my feet that I had to stuff them with socks so they would fit snug. When I went to school in these, I would get teased so badly. People would make fun of my shoes and call them roach killers or kick me, kill me. That went on for a couple weeks before I got a call from my dad. I was telling him that I didn't have a good pair of shoes and I needed a pair. He asked me what I wanted, and of course, I said I wanted a pair of Clarks. No, there's something I need to explain. There are Clarks originals, and then there are the other types of Clarks. In my opinion, the other pairs aren't as good looking as the originals. When he told me he would get me a pair, my face lit up with excitement and I couldn't wait to see him again so that I could get my shoes. To my surprise, when I got my shoes, it was one of the ugliest pairs of Clarks I've ever seen in my life. It was a combination of brown suede and black leather, and honestly, it looked like a cockroach. My friends made fun of me for days because of it, and honestly, at that point, I had just given up completely on my shoe game in high school. As I got older, I began to find my own style and I landed on the Converse shoe. No, this was great because they were cheap and also stylish. I told my dad that I had wanted a pair and he got me them. So for the last year of my high school career, I was wearing Converse to school. I absolutely loved them and I wore them until they started falling apart. The moral of the story, I guess, is to not be a follower and find out what works for you. What works for you may be what's popular at the time, but it may also be something very different, and that's okay. The important thing is that you maintain your integrity. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna end today's video here. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a like on the video. Until next time, peace.